this is something that I think is actually very positive. The headline, this is from the United Press International, UPI, by Sarah Shayanian. Progressive groups launch six-figure campaign to break up Facebook. A collection of left-wing groups launched a movement Monday called Freedom from Facebook, which calls for the federal government to break up the social media giant. The groups, the Content Creators Coalition, Demand Progress, Open Market Institute, Some of Us, and Move On, announced a six-figure digital advertising offensive to demand that the Federal Trade Commission break up Facebook and their subsidiaries Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger. This is one of the ways, by the way, that giant companies absolutely nail down their market dominance and keep small competitors out. It's a massive barrier to entry into the marketplace. And that is they do one of two things. They either buy out their competitors or they buy out new technology that could be used to enhance their product, which is what Facebook did with WhatsApp, Instagram, and Messenger. Or they simply integrate those features into their product, which is something Microsoft and Apple have been doing for years and years. Every time somebody comes out with a really cool little app that lets you, do something, Microsoft or Apple will simply build it into their operating system, and boom, that company's out of business. Now, I'm not saying they should be prevented from doing that, but there are reasonable limits on these kinds of things. The group, the coalition, said the 5 members of the Federal Trade Commission can make Facebook safe for our democracy by breaking it up, giving us the freedom to communicate across networks, and protecting our privacy. The freedom to communicate across networks is pretty important. You know, if you're on Facebook and you see something that you want to share with somebody, you can't do it. It's a closed little universe. You're stuck inside Facebook, and that's by intent. The Alliance says it plans to run ads with messages like Facebook keeps violating your privacy, break it up, and Mark Zuckerberg has a scary amount of power, we need to take it back. It's remarkable stuff. I think Facebook actually, when AT&T got broken up into 6 companies, 5 Baby Bells and Lucent Labs, Lucent Technologies, what used to be called Bell Labs, there was actually an increase in shareholder value. If you owned AT&T stock and that stock got replaced with the stock of these 6 new companies, you actually made out well from that. And it produced an explosion of innovation. After AT&T got broken up, just an explosion of innovation that led to the cellular explosion and the internet. And I believe that putting some reasonable limits on the size of Facebook, I'm not talking about killing the company by any stretch of the imagination, but putting some reasonable limits on it, and a similar would be a good thing for Facebook. I think it would be a good thing for Facebook stockholders, and it would certainly be a good thing for its users. And it's not going to diminish Mark Zuckerberg's billions and the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that his buddies have made off this thing. Another really interesting thing around the internet and privacy is a suggestion which is growing, which is that no company, whether it's Google or Facebook or there's dozens of others, that no company can keep your private information for more than 6 months. If you shoplift and you don't get caught, there's a statute of limitations. After a certain number of years, it varies from state to state, but after a certain number of years, you can't be prosecuted. Heck, if you rob a bank in some states, there's a statute of limitations. I think pretty much the only crime for which there is no statute of limitations is murder, which is, in my opinion, entirely appropriate that there not be a statute of limitations for murder. But why not put a statute of limitations on how long they can have, own, lock up, and exploit our browser histories, our search histories, our what we say to people in our emails, what we say in our messages on Messenger and instant text messages and things like that. What about a 6-month expiration date? And it can be a rolling date, so they've always got enough recent information that they can say, oh, well, you're a big fan of dogs, so we're going to deliver the dog ads to you. I don't have a problem with that, but 6 months sounds reasonable.